So after about a month of owning one of these 50cc SYXmotos and my son riding it pretty often, here's kind of my official review that I'm going to do. I'm kind of just pointing out a couple problems, kind of what to look out for. And there's really only mainly one thing. But the first thing I want to just touch on, like when you open it and stuff, and you first assemble it, make sure that you put some Loctite on these bolts. They're completely loose and they'll just back out. And even though I put Loctite on it, it's still backing out. So they need to. They're not supposed to be tight, but they're not supposed to be able to back out. That one's still sticking. And do it on both of them. This one got red Loctite, which I'll get it off if I need to, but so far no problem. So the brakes work pretty good. The bike's got a decent amount of power for my 9-year-old that weighs probably, how much does that kid weigh? Maybe he weighs close to 70 pounds. The other thing, this was actually very loose when it came, the coilover, so it was like way up here and the whole thing was just kind of jiggling around. And you can use it a little bit to adjust the ride height. When it came, the spark plug wire here was actually not fully connected, and it would make enough contact to where it would run for a while, and then it was just suddenly shut off. And it's because it was just losing contact. Just push it down and snap it on. It just came like that and just didn't notice it. And the main issue with them is the carburetor, and it's just these junk Chinese ones. You don't have to replace it, but you do have to. I'd say after like running it once or twice, this is when the carburetor problems began. And it'll run for a while. It'll just shut off. It'll be running. It'll run out of fuel because it's just not. It gets clogged, and then also the float bowl starts leaking when the bike's off. After you just shut it off, or actually while you're running it. So there's a pretty easy fix for that. You got to pull the carburetor off and pull the float bowl. You can't do it on this one. I've seen some bikes where it looks like they have more room, but there's not enough room on this frame to pull off the float bowl, which is strange, but there isn't. And there's a fix on the needle jet. It's just manufactured incorrectly, and it won't allow it to stop up the hole once the float bowl gets full, so then it overflows. Another problem was with the fuel shutoff valve. From the factory, it's just totally dry in there, and it's this rubber O-ring material, and when you would twist this, it would just kind of grip onto the O-ring and drag it with, and it would cover the holes up for the fuel shutoff. So that's another pretty huge issue. One more issue, their fuel hose was too long and wasn't straight enough to allow the fuel to flow correctly. So I think those are the main problems with the bike. It runs well. The engine's solid. It's pretty fast. I'll get him to clock it maybe this weekend with the GPS on the phone. But it's pretty decent. I mean, for the money, it's really decent, especially from a 9-year-old. Of course, someone like me, 6'3" and 220 pounds, ain't happening. My wife's small, and she did ride it, but it was just totally uncomfortable. She had to put her legs up and stuff. So, all right, guys, I hope you do enjoy some of this and kind of stuff to look out for on the bike. I'm trying to think if there's anything else before I shut this down. There really isn't. Other than the carburetor and the little minor stuff I showed, the bike's actually been really good, and I would definitely recommend, getting one. All right, guys, later.